Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, we had a great night, right? President Trump not only won South Carolina, he won it bigly, didn't he? I mean, my goodness. You know, this humiliation that Nikki Haley went through is not humiliating to her because she is not a mentally sound person. I mean, you know, she's in this for another reason. And, you know, she is part of this never Trumper crowd. You remember, you know, her Bush backers, you know, the Karl Roves, the Jebs, the Sununus, you know, the Democrats. They're all telling her, Nikki Haley, and she's a complete insane woman. They're all telling Nikki Haley that something is going to disqualify Trump. You're coming in, you know, second place, even though it's really last place. You're coming in second place in South Carolina. You're coming, even though you're losing, you're still going to be in second place when we get to the convention. So when he's disqualified and we're at the convention, you'll be the second place person in all these primaries, so you will be able to get the nomination. That's one thing they're telling her. Another thing they're telling her is there'll possibly be a brokered convention. And since she's in second place, she'll be the natural to plug in. Now, again, these are not sane people. You know, remember Governor Sununu, I played some audio of him on Friday's show where he was calling Donald Trump an a-hole. Governor Sununu called President Trump an a-hole. He said a-holes come and go. Can you imagine? That's how they think. That's how they talk. So she's got all these people whispering in her ear that Donald Trump did all these things and everything else, mostly Democrats these days. And she's not in a normal state of mind. She's insane. No one else would go through the humiliation of losing in their hometown. I mean, basically, I was watching Benny Johnson, and Benny Johnson was making this comparison of someone run out of their own hometown, and that's basically what happened. Nikki Haley was run out of her own hometown, her home state, where she grew up. Now, you know, DeSantis dropped out long before this humiliation set in. He certainly didn't want to lose in Florida. And back during Trump's first campaign, Jeb Bush, who was twice elected governor of Florida, dropped out before the Florida primary because he didn't want to go through what Nikki Haley just went through. And you see her, am I the only one who sees a crazy lady? I mean, the look in her eyes reminds me of like Governor Whitmer or Gavin Newsom. So now this is a breakdown with 98.8% of people. And this is so strange. This is the South Carolina results. President Trump, 60%, Nikki Haley at 40, just under, 451,905 votes. I mean, that's amazing. President Trump, 451,000, historic. I couldn't believe as soon as 7 o'clock came up, boom, CNN called it. I mean, they called it like instant. I've never seen anything like that. Have you? They just boom, just called it. I was just, I really enjoy watching the poll results come in. And during the major election, like in November, it's hard. I can't stay up all night because I've got to be up early in the morning on the air and dissecting everything and giving analysis. And if I'm up all night watching the results, I can't do it. And it's not very often that I can stay up all night and watch major results. And I was very excited that this was on a Saturday night because I'm like, oh, wow, and my wife and I, we had no plans for Saturday night. We were going to dig in and watch the results come in South Carolina. And what I love, of course, we all love a Trump victory, but I was really looking forward to watching the county by county breakdown. Do you guys, when they have a state like this, and CNN, I really wanted to watch it on CNN, do the county by county going for Trump, and they just called it. And a lot of people, I'm sure, will talk about this as the day and the week goes on, but my belief is they called it right away because they just didn't want to give Trump the victory. They declared it for Trump, but these election nights, they have all their heavy hitters come in. All the weekday people are off on the weekends. They've got all their weekday people in studio on these fake news cable networks. And, that's an expense. They got all their people there. It's supposed to be a ratings extravaganza, and they like to drag it out a little bit, but not last night. They just called it right off the bat so that people would just turn away and not really enjoy the victory. And as I'm going through the news today, like the Daily Mail, for example, they don't even have it as their top story. They have something. What do they have on the Daily Mail? I'll pull it up here on my phone. I'm not going to show you guys. This guy that was fired from Saturday Night Live was hosting last night. I don't even know who he is. I don't know the name of one cast member of Saturday Night Live. They have the Trump victory buried even in the Daily Mail. So, I think that's why they called it early. You guys can let me know what you all think. But you look at this breakdown. This is South Carolina. President Trump, 451,905 votes. Nikki Haley, 298,681. Now, this will change a little bit because this is with 98.8% reporting. So when they get 100%, they'll change slightly. But look at these others. 2,951 voted for DeSantis. Who are these 3,000 idiots that voted for DeSantis? 726 for Ramaswamy, 657 for Chris Christie, Binkley 427, and Stuckenberg 360. I wouldn't recognize Binkley or Stuckenberg if they walked into this studio right now. Who are you? But who are these people that voted for these others? I don't know. But this was the biggest victory in history in South Carolina. It was huge and spectacular. Now it's off to Michigan and Super Tuesday and everything. And here's the insane. By the way, if you'd like to call in, if you're watching live, the number's the same number I use during the week. It's toll free, 888-465-2631. Oh, yeah. Celebrate Trump's victory. Order your Mighty MAGA Lion, available exclusively through me at MightyMagaLion.com. There's a link in the description of the video. Hey, cuddle up on Super Tuesday with your Mighty MAGA Lion. This is the only Trump-inspired merchandise where he's actually wearing the MAGA hat, and this is available exclusively through me at MightyMagaLion.com. MightyMagaLion.com. There's a link in the description. And, everyone who ordered last week, I did a big shipment yesterday, and they are on their way, people. But this is the best way to watch Super Tuesday with your Mighty MAGA Lion. The link is in the description. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff. What's up? Oh man, what a great day, huh?
Yeah, it is. Do you think that the Democrats are gonna promise Nikki Haley something on the ticket, like VP or something?
No.
What is the purpose of them backing her then?
No. There's a couple of reasons. The one I said that these lunatics, there's a few reasons. One, these lunatics still think there's a way to keep Trump off the ballot, and they're telling her she can get the nomination. Okay, and she'll be easily defeated, right? I wouldn't even, if she were the nominee, I wouldn't even show up on election day. So they got that,
right.
These are people with Trump derangement syndrome. So they still think there's a path that he's not going to be the nominee or on the ballot in November. The second thing is, she works for the military-industrial complex. And the longer she's in this, the more she could talk about carpet bombing Iran and backing this lunatic in Ukraine against Putin and everything else. Once somebody's out of the race, you don't see, when's the last time you saw an interview with DeSantis or Ramaswamy? You don't see him, right? So it keeps her on
That's right.
TV doing that. And they also think, because they hate Trump, that everyone hates Trump. They don't they just don't accept his popularity. I'm sure there's some other reasons too. She's in it because she's delusional and she's making a lot of money.
Well, I know it's about the money, but you don't think they'd promise her some kind of cabinet position or something?
Oh, a cabinet position? I could see that. Yeah. They might. They could make her.
No sense.
She couldn't be their not.
That makes sense to me is that they think that she could steal some Trump votes, and they're delusional if they think Nikki Haley can take any votes from Trump.
No, she wouldn't. And yeah, they might promise her a cabinet position. You can be in the opposing party and be in a cabinet. That happens all the time. So yeah, they could promise her to be Secretary of State or something, or ambassador to India. I don't know if that's high enough up for her, but they could promise her something. Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. Yeah, she's staying in it for a reason. I mean, she's completely insane. I mean, look at her. She just got her ass kicked again, and look at her. She's smiling like she won.
Yeah, and if she is receiving money, does it have to be accountable for?
Well, they do this. I don't know how all these campaign things work, but if you notice, like Ron DeSantis, he didn't say I'm ending my campaign, I'm dropping out. He said I'm suspending my campaign, which my guess, and they always do that. So my guess is that suspension of the campaign somehow legally allows them to hold on to the money if they suspend the campaign. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
But I don't know how much money they have left up. They spent over $16 million in South Carolina to lose. Donald Trump spent $1.5 million.
Makes absolutely no sense. Hey, how's the weather down there where you are in Florida?
It's cold for us. Let's see here. It is. Let me see what the weather is. It is right now at my house. It's 50 degrees, which is freezing for us here in Florida.
Yeah, for Florida.
And the high today is of 75.
This morning, it's 7 degrees in Bangor, and that's really cold for this time of year. So I figured that cold must have gone pretty far south to do that.
Oh, my goodness. 50 degrees is cold. I might take my MAGA scooter out, my Vespa out later. When the sun comes up, if it gets up in the 60s, I might go for a ride down the beach or something.
Yeah, 60s, we'd be swimming in the ocean here.
If it warms up enough, I'll take my MAGA scooter up to Mar-a-Lago this morning. I'll see what it's like when the sun comes up, because it's a beautiful day.
How far a ride is it for you?
Not far. A few minutes. There's many ways I can go, but if I'm on my MAGA scooter, I have a Vespa. It's a red Vespa. I call it my MAGA scooter. This is the MAGA scooter 2.0, the original MAGA scooter I saw. But I just take A1A, which is right on the beach, and I just take A1A from my house right up to Mar-a-Lago. It's a nice ride.
So you're south of Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, I am south of Mar-a-Lago. Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not too far south.
Well,
either.
Brian, I want to wish everybody a very blessed Sunday morning. Hopefully you all go to your church and worship the Lord this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. All right, good to hear from you, Jeff from Maine. Yeah, you're all welcome to call in. If you're watching live, the number's toll-free. It's pinned to the chat. So here's Nikki Haley. She just lost. And, I mean, look at her. I mean, she's like, do you guys want to see my cat Luna first, though? Hold on, Luna. Hey, Luna. Let me get Luna first. Hey, Luna, let me show you. Luna. There's Luna. Hey, Luna. What's up? This is our cat, Luna. She's just having a great old time. She's always up early. Hey, Luna. Yes. All right. Yeah. All right, Luna, let's go. She wants out of the room here. Hold on. She's a great cat. We love her. Oh, man, Luna. All right, so here's Nikki Haley. She just lost. Hey, look at her. You know, I mean, I believe in the power of positive thinking. It's good to be positive, right? And I'm a pretty positive person. But I'm not a lunatic who lives in denial, okay? Watch this.
There are huge numbers of voters in our Republican primaries who are saying they want an alternative.
You know, this is an interesting thing. Now, first off, we know a bunch of Democrats voted for her. But what Republican, she's got this weird kind of logic with the numbers. You know, Steve Kane's got this saying, figures don't lie, but liars can figure. That's a good one, right? Figures don't lie, but liars can figure. And she's got this standard, since Donald Trump only got 60% of the vote, he didn't get 100%, that there's still massive support for her. What Republican has ever gotten 100% of the vote? I mean, we still have jerk-offs voting for
There are huge numbers of voters in our Republican primaries who are saying they want an alternative. I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president.
And now this is like quadruple insanity because, I mean, you know, she, like Benny Johnson said, she just got run out of her hometown. George, $20 super chat there. Thank you so much, George, for that $20 super chat. She just got run out of her hometown in her home state, and she still thinks there's some path. And this whole idea that she's a woman of her word, she said she wouldn't run against President Trump. And she is. So what is she talking about?
There are huge numbers of voters in our Republican primaries who are saying they want an alternative. I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I'm a woman of my word.
Oh, really? What about that word that you would honor and be faithful to your husband while you're having sex with other men in the family Cadillac Escalade in parking lots, behind bars, restaurants, and in your government office? Is that a woman of your word?
I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I'm a woman of my word.
Except when she's lying. She's either crazy or high. I mean, you know, it's... she just cracks me up. It just cracks me up. Now, this is something I want to run this by you guys. Okay? Now, this is in the New York Post. And Byron Donalds, Brooklyn-born Rep. Byron Donalds says he's ready to serve if Trump should tap him as vice president. Two native sons of New York who grew up just 10 miles apart in the city's outer boroughs could make history as the Big Apple's first ever presidential pairing. So, you know, I like Byron Donalds, and I'd be very happy if he became our governor here in Florida after Ron DeSantis' second term is up. But I got a question for you, because this is a fact. You cannot have the president and the vice presidential nominee from the same state unless they sacrifice the electoral college votes of that state. In Florida, you know, because Byron Donalds may be from New York, but he's a Floridian now, and he's a congressman from Florida, not New York. So now you can't have the president and the vice president running together unless they sacrifice the electoral college votes, as I said. Now, in 2000, when Cheney ran for Bush with Bush as vice president, they both lived in Texas, and what happened then was Dick Cheney, who had a house in Wisconsin. He used to be a congressman from Wisconsin, Dick Cheney, many, many years before that. He went and got a driver's license in Wisconsin, established residency in Wisconsin so he could run with George Bush in 2000. And it was barely mentioned in the news. Now, President Trump gets arrested when he doesn't break the law. This is an interesting thing about Byron Donalds, because everyone knows you can't have the president and the vice president from the same state. So what's going on here? Is this real about Byron Donalds being at the top of the list? He's a pretty impressive guy. I've seen him in person. I didn't meet him, but I was, I don't know, about as close to him as I am to the camera that's showing me here on YouTube when I at an event here in Palm Beach. Is it possible that Donald Trump, without us even thinking about it or knowing about it or the press missing it, somehow establish residency up in New Jersey? Because he lives between New Jersey and Florida. And, he's only at Mar-a-Lago during the winter months. Mar-a-Lago's pretty much closed over the summer. And he spends the rest of the year outside of the winter in New Jersey. Is it possible that Donald Trump has established residency in New Jersey and no one knows about it? Like maybe he got a driver's license or something? Even though I don't think presidents are allowed to drive on public roads anymore. But they may have lifted that. But I remember George W. Bush couldn't drive on public roads. Is it possible he's done that? I don't know. I was just thinking about that because this thing with Byron Donalds, a lot of people are talking about it. And since he is from Florida. Now, at CPAC, they did. By the way, if you're new to my stream and new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. I upload a lot of content here. This is the most MAGA pro-Trump place you'll find on any platform anywhere. I live stream every day of the week, and I'm always taking live calls on my live streams. I also upload my podcast here and vlogs and such too. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe. You'll love my content, I promise you. So I don't know, this thing with Byron Donalds got me thinking. It is possible that Donald Trump has established residency. Or is it in New Jersey? Or has Byron Donalds established residency somewhere else? Congress makes the laws, and Congress makes the laws to benefit them. You don't have to live in Florida to be a congressman from Florida, a House member from Florida. That's true. This has come up in the past with Democrats who really lived in Virginia, but were elected U.S. reps from Florida. And there was a guy named Robert Wexler in particular. This was a big deal about. He's no longer in Congress, Democrat. He was a jerk. I'm sure he still is a jerk. He's just not in Congress anymore. So maybe Byron Donalds established residency in Virginia. I don't know. But I like Byron Donalds. Now, they did a straw poll yesterday at CPAC. And it says here, Kristi Noem and Ramaswamy were tied for first place as Republican grassroots activist president preference for Trump's vice presidential pick. They both received 15%. Now, they had a lot of people in that poll. So, who would you rather have to be his running mate? I'm going to give you three choices. Kristi Noem, Vivek, or Byron Donalds. Kristi Noem, Vivek, or Byron Donalds. Who would you rather have as President Trump's running mate? I will say, I like Kristi Noem, but I don't know enough about her. I know her backstory of how she took over the family, ranch and all that stuff, and that's a great story and all that. And everything I've heard about her is good, But I don't know, these three candidates, if you think about it, Kristi Noem, Vivek, and Byron Donalds, how much do you know about any of them? I like Byron Donalds. Now, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Floridian and he's a Florida guy. Maybe I got a little bias that way. But I think Byron Donalds, out of those three, I like a lot. And I'll tell you, I've seen him speak a couple times. One was in person, and he is impressive. Tim Scott, if he picks Tim Scott, he picks Tim Scott. I'm curious to see how much President Trump talks about Tim Scott now that we're out of South Carolina. Hey, caller, just 1 second, because Tim Scott gets really weird when he gets on stage. He starts talking like a black preacher like Arsenio Hall and Coming to America, and he did that in South Carolina last night too, but he was only up there for like 10 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning.
Richie the bus driver. Hey, Richie.
Yeah, how you doing? Listen. I look at it differently than you and the gentleman that just called you.
Yeah, Jeff from Maine.
Yeah, Jeff from Maine. You whether you want to believe this or not, we're MAGA, but MAGA is not not the whole Republican Party. Unfortunately, there's probably maybe one third that are against Trump. That's the 40% that she got, plus plus independents and some Democrats.
And Democrats, yeah.
We need her voters if we want to win a general election. We can't trash her anymore. Tell you the truth, you didn't even hear President Trump mention her yesterday.
That's true.
You don't want to alienate. You don't want to alienate any more Republicans. You know, we're calling up saying these Republicans are rhinos. We keep insulting them, and they're either not going to show up or they're not going to vote. They're going to vote for a Democrat. What you see here, Nikki Haley.
Well, you know, there's, you know, even Ronald Reagan did not have. I'm looking up to see if I can find how Ronald Reagan did in 1980 in South Carolina, and I can't. Let me see if I can find it. But you know, even Ronald Reagan did not have 100% of the vote.
No, I get that.
Of the Republican vote. Haley, I mean, that's a crazy standard.
Nikki Haley is not delusional. She's looking at President Trump's age. She's looking at these jail deals and these Democratic witch hunts. And
okay. I just pulled this up, Richie. Okay, this is from the Washington Post for the 1980 South Carolina primary. Connie, who by the way was once governor of Texas. Okay. Reagan won, obviously. See, March 8th, 1980, Ronald Reagan rolled to a landslide victory in South Carolina's primary tonight. This is March 8th, 1980, dealing a severe blow to John B. Conley's hopes. See what happens? You know, Nikki, they're on top of the world, and then they're out of the primary. I don't even know who this guy is. I wouldn't recognize him if I saw a picture. Hopes of
Conley was in the car with Kennedy when he was shot.
That's right.
Conley was shot also.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely right. And now that you mention it, I didn't even make the connection, right? But it's true. So he was in the car with President Kennedy, and when came, okay, he had hopes of making a political comeback and increasing on Ford. Conley's failed to come within striking distance in a state where he had invested considerable time and money. So with 99% of the vote, Reagan had 54%. Connolly 30, and Bush is HW. Bush 41 had 15%.
Yeah.
So here we have Donald Trump finish better than even President Reagan in 1980.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because nobody but Trump has what they call Trumpicans, like we are.
Yeah.
MAGA. Never, like he says, there's never been a movement like that. But we still don't have enough. We still don't have enough to win a general election if we don't get all the
But look at this, Richie. President Reagan and Governor Reagan at the time, and we're just talking about South Carolina. He got 54% of the vote. He had Conley got 30, and then this is a Republican primary, guys, in 1980. Conley got 30. H.W. Bush got 15. So we had, if you go by the logic that Nikki Haley's using and you're using, 45% of Republicans don't want Reagan. They want either Conley or H.W. Bush in 1980. That's bizarre logic.
No, I'm not. It's not, and I'll tell you why it's not. It will be objective here. And you're the first one to say you either love Trump or you hate Trump. There's no in between people. So he's got to search to get the in between people. That's why it's important this time that he picks a good candidate to run with him, because they're going to have to reach out and try to get these independents and people that don't really like President Trump's personality.
Now there's an added component to Trump because he only has one term left, and whoever he picks, it's highly likely, not 100%, but it's likely they'll be our nominee in 2028 and be the second MAGA president. But forgetting about that extra component, when have you voted for someone because of who the vice president was?
Never.
When was the last time that was important? You know, you talk about it brings in a certain group of people. Those days are over. You know, there was a time when that was true. For example, Lyndon Johnson was brought in as a running mate of Kennedy to help with the Southern vote because he was a Northern Democrat, right? The country is much different now. The population, people don't have the attachment to their state that they once had back in those days.
Well, I don't think
the vice president the only person that helps us. There's only one person that helps us, and this is not my first pick, but if Donald Trump picks them, I'll bet is Ramaswamy, because he's a star with young people. He's like Taylor Swift with young people. He's that popular. He's like Taylor Swift popular with the young vote. So other than Vivek Ramaswamy, there's no one who brings anything to the table.
I'm going to put you on the spot because you reached out to everyone on that's called in on. Who would you, if you were going to select the vice president right now, who would Brian Craig pick?
Greg Abbott.
You would take Greg Abbott?
Yeah, look what Greg Abbott's done. All this stuff that's going on in all these blue cities, where they have Trump ideas now on the border. That's all because Greg Abbott started shipping illegals throughout the country. And I think there's a good story with that. And you know what? About 90% of voters don't even know he's in a wheelchair. You get him in his wheelchair campaigning and all this great work he's done, I would pick Greg Abbott.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. It really is interesting.
Why? Who did you? I know. I like Nikki Haley.
Well, no,
not Nikki. No, I retract that. I misspoke. It's early. I like Kristi Noem, but let's face it, she's at the top of the list because she's hot and she's got nice eyes. I don't know too much about her. No one knows anything about her. We know she took over the family ranch, Kristi Noem, But what do we know about any of these others?
I would take the senator from Ohio.
J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance. I'll tell you why. He was a businessman ahead of time. He was an anti-Trumper who actually admitted that he made a major mistake.
Never trust a never Trumper. Never trust a never Trumper.
When he tells you he was wrong.
Yeah.
He tells you he was wrong.
So does Ben Shapiro. I don't trust him.
No, Ben. There's a big difference between and
I'll tell you about J.D. Vance. Okay, never trust a never Trumper. That's number one. Okay, number two, his corporate background is out there with in Silicon Valley, right, in San Francisco, and this book he wrote.
So is Swampy.
Yeah, well, that's why he's not on my list either. I don't trust it. And J.D. Vance also wrote this hillbilly book calling his whole family white trash. How can you trust this guy? No, there's he's doing good stuff.
Well, how about Tulsi Gabbard? Now she's anti-war, and
no, she's a radical she's a radical leftist. She supports legalization of all drugs, which includes cocaine, crack, and heroin. She supports the Green New Deal. I know she acts like a Republican and is in the National Guard, and Fox News promotes her. No, she cannot be trusted. She's a Trojan horse. Right, she was in the Democrat in the last campaign. She was running as a Democrat. She was up on stage with Biden and Kamala and all the rest.
That's what I'm saying.
In the second debate,
she could pull a lot of Democrats. She could pull a lot of Democrats in there. We want to get Trump in there. I mean, like you said, who cares about the vice president? But you want to be able to. You want to get President Trump in there. It's going to be his policies. It's not going to be Tulsi Gabbard's or whoever he picks.
Yeah, but we don't want to. We got to be careful not to elevate someone to get the nomination in 2028 who we can't trust. And no, I know a lot of people don't like Greg Abbott in Texas, and I don't know, but I know that Greg Abbott has done something that I think most people thought was impossible. He's turned the most left. He even had the mayor of New York talking about finishing the wall until they arrested his campaign manager and threatened him with prison. You know what I mean? So no, How
about Stefanik? How about Stefanik from New York? I'm going through the list. She's excellent.
I ran into Stefanik at Mar-a-Lago last Friday, and I was surprised. She's about this tall. She's very short. She's very nice, but no. I mean, whoever Trump, I don't care who Trump picks. I'm going to support Trump. If Trump picked Hillary Clinton, I'd vote for Trump. Okay, it doesn't. It's not going to impact how I vote. But I like what Greg Abbott's done. Hey, Richie, appreciate the call, man. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark. What's up?
My personal choice would be Greg Abbott from what he's done at the border.
Yeah.
Because with his shipping containers and the razor wire, I think they said it went from 3,000 people down to 100 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, listening to you, I'm starting to see with Vivek, like you say, he has the interest of the young people.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he's a rock star with young people
that
that helps turn out votes. There's no doubt about that.
And all the bad things happening in America from the Democrats, it's all the young people that have been indoctrinated.
But you know what, though? I watched a little bit of Vivek at CPAC yesterday, and it's like listening to Obama. I mean, he says vague, he tells us what we want to hear. A lot of platitudes. If Trump picks him, you notice since he's been campaigning with Trump, I don't criticize him too much. It's only when people bring him up that I even do it. But the people that first off, Vivek, okay, just conservatives out there, we know very little about him. Okay, very little about him. And he made his money in the pharmaceutical industry. All of a sudden, MAGA people are backing pharmaceutical billionaires? That seems strange. Kristi Noem, we know the story of the family ranch that she took over when she was young, and that's a great story. President Trump likes her, but we don't really know what has she done as governor. We don't know too much about her. Who else is on the list? Byron Donalds, I've seen him speak in person. I like him. He seems to be loyal to Trump, but what's his background? Greg Abbott, I'm not advocating for Greg Abbott. Because Richie asked, Greg Abbott, look what he's doing at the southern border, and look at how he's turned liberal opinion in favor of Trump's policies on the southern border. That's a miracle. Who would have thought that would have been possible?
Greg Abbott was using common sense with.
Well, liberals don't have common sense. Liberals, see,
No.
what he made liberals do, it's easy to be a sanctuary city when you're not on the border, right? So what he did is he turned these blue cities into border towns by shipping the illegals there. And he has turned, now their mayors may be out there supporting it, but the people of Chicago and these other blue cities, the people are pissed. And they're the ones who turn out to vote on Election Day.
From what Greg Abbott has done, it's not blue states now, it's blue cities.
Yeah. And he targeted which cities he sent people to and again, I'm not advocating for him to be vice president. I really don't care. I mean there's some people that I wouldn't want, but we got to be careful, you don't want someone because of some surface reason, okay? Haven't we learned between Obama and Mike Pence not to trust someone that you don't know too much about, just because on the surface they get all the check boxes, the check marks in the boxes.
But after Trump is gone, if we have 95% of the young people, that will make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoy your home show, and I like seeing your cat doing really good.
Luna. Yeah, Luna. By the way, we did not name, appreciate the call. We did not name our cat after Luna. That was her name when we were given the cat. She was a stray given to us by my brother-in-law. He had named her Luna, and he's a rabid liberal. Oh my goodness, is he? My brother-in-law hangs on Rachel Maddow's every word. It's ridiculous. Now, here's another lunatic. Well, two lunatics actually. Jake Tapper and Gavin Newsom.
Do you think that Haley or Trump would be easier to beat for him?
Well, first of all, I think she's one of our better surrogates, so I hope she stays in. I hope she does well tomorrow.
All the nasty stuff she says about Trump.
She's spot on.
Okay, now the reason I play this, obviously, this lunatic, Governor Newsom, is being sarcastic. But this answers one of these questions. Why is Nikki Haley staying in? She has all these Democrats backing her, and you hear Governor Newsom say right here, she's a great surrogate. So one of the reasons she's still in the race and heading off to Michigan today in this freezing weather is because the Democrat donors want her out there trashing Trump, and also they think she's causing division inside the Republican Party.
Do you think that Haley or Trump would be easier to beat for him?
Well, first of all, I think she's one of our better surrogates, so I hope she stays in. Hope she does well tomorrow.
All the nasty stuff she says about Trump.
She's spot on 99% of it. So I'm enjoying this primary, and I hope it continues. So I wish her luck. But look, Trump's the nominee. We all know that. You know that. Everybody out there knows that. And I think the polls are suggestive. She's going to get well up tomorrow, and then she'll make a case, I guess.
This was Friday.
Just to continue in this. But again, I have no problem with her continuing for as long as she wishes, because I think she's making a good case against Trump.
Yeah, see, so that's one of the major reasons she's still in it, and why the Democrats are donating. See, these Democrat donors, they don't have anyone else to donate to except her. So, because they don't really have a primary. So these are people that got a lot of money to blow, and they're spending it on her. And I want to remind you guys, Super Tuesday's coming up. Get your Mighty MAGA Lion, available at MightyMAGALion.com. The Mighty MAGA Lion here, there's a link in the description of the video, MightyMAGALion.com. MightyMAGALion.com. The Mighty MAGA Lion, as I said earlier, the only Trump-inspired merchandise wearing the MAGA hat, and is also available exclusively through me. Okay? My wife and I partnered up with Dee, who's one of my YouTube chat moderators, and we designed and had made the Mighty MAGA Lion. So you can get this from nowhere else, and you can just cuddle up on Super Tuesday, and then the big one in November, and convention night, every night that Trump's on. Just cuddle up with your Mighty MAGA Lion. They make a great gift. If you order more than one, you get a discount. Okay, so go to MightyMAGALion.com, and they're very durable. This guy, I took that guy to California. I travel around with him to the radio station all the time. And you can see, I've been walking around this guy for a long time, and he looks like the day he arrived. So, MightyMAGALion.com, order yours. And again, there's a link in the video, the description to the store. Michael, $10 super chat, thank you. He says, I personally think it's going to be between Wesley Hunt and Tim Scott for Veep. The left can't throw the race card with either of them, and they both have great backgrounds. Tim, the thing with Tim Scott, they do have to work on, by the way, thanks, Michael, for that super chat. They do have to work on Tim Scott with that weird way that he talks when he gets on stage. The black preacher, the stereotypical black preacher. And the way I describe it is he's like Arsenio Hall in Coming to America when he plays the preacher. They got to train him out of that, get out of that habit. It's just something that happens to him when he's on stage with a mic. Yeah, that's that. Now, Bob Costas, this is getting a lot of play with this jerk, Smirconish. Bob Costas, Bob Costas, do you know who he went to high school with? He went to, and oh man, it's a blur. I'm glad that this is low quality blurred picture there, because Bob Costas in HD is not a pretty sight. But Bob Costas, he's trashing Trump and MAGA supporters. Do you know who he went to high school with, Bob Costas? I'm sure some of you know. Think about it. Take a sip of my coffee. Think about it. Who did he go to high school with? Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell and Bob Costas went to high school together. Isn't that something? And this jerk here, Smirconish on CNN, he does a national radio show on Sirius Satellite Radio, which they should have. Don't you guys think I should be on the Sirius Satellite Radio Patriot channel? Absolutely, I should. I should be nationally syndicated in the mornings. Any syndicators out there watching? Smirconish, this guy's you know how he got famous? When Obama was president, he was a Republican, and he was the first Republican to come out and support Obama. What a jerk he is. It's all fake. But
come at this from a position of not wanting to see Trump get elected. You should state that at the outset.
Oh, hold on. I can't play that because the music, it's not the clip I wanted to play. That's a montage. I'll find the one I wanted to play. But Bob Costas calls us a toxic cult. I'll find the clip in a minute, and then I'll play it again. He calls us a toxic cult. You know, this is interesting. You know, throughout my entire life, there's never been someone that has the popularity of Donald Trump in any political party, not even Obama. You know, President Trump has been filling up arenas for how long now? Right? Like 7-8 years? You know, and he's choosing to do smaller venues in these primary states because he wants to have a personal connection with a lot of the voters. But he fills up any venue he's in. No one could do that. Not even Obama. Obama had some big speeches, but they weren't events for him. There was one big one that is the most famous. There was when Obama was running in the 2008 campaign. He spoke to a group of 50,000. And this was like the biggest group of presidential candidates had spoken to like in forever, if maybe ever at the time, 50,000. And I remember when it happened, there was no video of the speech. They just had still photographs of him on the stage with the crowd. And then it came out, this was on the West Coast. It was either in Oregon or Washington State. I can't remember. But it was a free concert that was going on. And they brought him out on stage between sets, Obama. And it was not an event for him. Deborah gifted a membership. Thanks so much, Deborah. And let's see here. Tennessee, TN, Volver, Niner, got that membership. So that's cool. Thanks so much, Deborah. And remember, when you're a member, you get all those cool emojis. And your name is in a special color so you stay out in the chat. But it was not an event for him. It was a free music festival. Then they did another thing where he went and spoke in Germany, and he had the biggest crowd ever. And it was a reggae festival concert. They brought him out as people were arriving. So not even Obama got a crowd once like Trump gets any day of the week that he wants to have an event. And they call that a cult? No, it's just, you know, the way that I often describe President Trump is he's a civil rights leader, a bigger civil rights leader than we've ever had in this country. And this time he is leading all of the American people, not based on any category of skin color or religion. He's leading all of the American people to freedom from the donors, the deep state, and the government. I mean, did you guys watch at CPAC yesterday the president of Argentina's speech? My goodness, what a brilliant guy he is. And it was amazing. And what he was detailing that brought down Argentina is what we're facing. Rich donors, corrupt politicians taking the bribes. It's the same thing that we're dealing with here. And President Trump is a civil rights leader who was leading us all to freedom, right? Absolutely. And yeah. And that's why we're behind him. It's not a cult any more than the civil rights movement behind the great Martin Luther King was a cult. It's not a cult. It's people in this country who are tired of being governed by the military-industrial complex and corrupt leaders like Joe Biden. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, buddy. This is Ron from Atlanta.
Ron in Atlanta. What's up?
I kind of believe podcasters. I think you guys are a toxic cult.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Could you tell me?
You believe and lies.
Well, a lot of times, you know, people that are in a cult, you know, they don't know they're in a cult. And you see these stories where people are like rescued from cults by family members and they have to be deprogrammed, right? So maybe you could do an intervention. Maybe you could deprogram me. If I'm in this Trump cult that Bob Costas thinks I'm in, talk me out of it. Why should I be voting for Joe Biden and not Donald Trump?
Hold on a second. I got to make sure you're in the cult. Do you believe that the 2020 election was stolen?
I'm not going to talk about that. No. You said you agree with Bob Costas. We're in a cult. Okay. So tell me why. Tell me why I should vote for Donald Trump and not Joe Biden. I'm in a cult. I'm voting for Donald Trump. So why should I not vote for him in November but vote for Joe Biden?
Because if you care about the country, you'll vote for Joe Biden.
That's a vague generality. Give me
hold on.
What country are you talking about? Ukraine or the United States?
America.
The United States of America.
Let me explain. Calm down, Brian. It's early Sunday morning. Calm down, buddy.
It's always early for you.
Always. But Donald Trump only wants to be the president to save his own hide. That's it. He doesn't want to be the president to make America great.
Okay. Do you know now? Again, I want you to deprogram me here. I'm trying to get Democrats. You can blue pill me.
You're too deep. I can't.
You can blue pill me. Well, maybe you'll blue. By the way, does anyone know anyone who's ever been blue pilled? Does this happen, right? Okay. For example, under Joe Biden, because we have a completely open southern border, okay, we have had twice as many illegals come into this country through the southern border than babies were born last year, right? They have surpassed our birth rate by 2 times of illegals coming into this country, which is a way to dilute the American people in our country. And when I mean dilute, I don't mean racially, I mean culturally. They're trying to take our country is being invaded by foreigners who don't become Americans. I'm not finished. So Donald Trump wants to close the border, as it should be, and do mass deportations. Joe Biden doesn't want to do that. Why should I support an open border?
Because Joe Biden just had a border bill that Donald Trump killed because he wanted to use it for an election.
No, the border bill wasn't. No. The border bill, what it did was legalize the illegal immigration. It wasn't to close down the border.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you 2 points off the border bill. It took the asylum process down from 5 years to 6 months.
Yeah.
And then it had it had deportation within 90 days.
It gave them asylum like immediately.
Hold on a second, right? Now they pulled this bill together with bipartisan Congress.
No, we want to throw out this asylum thing. Excuse me. No. That's the border. The border bill. The reason that Donald Trump and Republicans opposed the border bill were a few. One,
it wasn't Republicans. It was Donald Trump.
He's the leading Republican. He's the leader of the Republican Party. The Republicans rejected the border bill because what you said is not true. It legalized. It legalized illegal immigration and allowed for so many thousands a day to come in legally now are illegally.
No, see, you're wrong, Brian. You're wrong.
No, you're just making. Listen, I'm not on the radio now, so I can use salty language. You're just making shit up. Okay.
I'm definitely not.
That's what you're doing. You're just making crap up. No, you're not. What you said is not true.
For 3 days, man.
What you're saying is not true. It's just not true.
I heard it from what's the one cat with the
who? Rachel Maddow?
Oh, it's a Senator Tom. I want to say it's not. It might be Tom Lang.
I don't care who you heard it from. If they said it, if they said that, they were telling you something that's not true.
Brian, he's the one who drafted the bill with the other congressman. So why would he lie?
Because he's a politician in Congress.
You see what I'm saying? This is the call.
Because he's a politician in Congress. I appreciate the call. Listen, I don't mind people that disagree with me, okay? I don't. I welcome people who call in to disagree with me, okay? I really do. However, I'm not going to debate someone who's making crap up, okay? And what they do, it's called a straw man's argument. You know, they state something as fact that's not true, and then want you to debate from their false premise. And you know, we have illegals coming here at twice the birth rate, and these are immigrants that are not becoming Americanized. So what they're trying to do, and they're going to have success if President Trump is not reelected in November. We will lose our country. They're trying to wipe out the American culture. And by the way, that doesn't mean white. You don't have to be white to be an American, okay? But that's what they're attempting to do with success. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian, this is Dave in Virginia.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, I'm just the last caller. I guess he don't realize that if they would have kept building the wall, we wouldn't be going through any of this.
And remain in Mexico.
Yes.
And President Trump was doing massive deportations, if you remember, of MS-13 and those other groups.
Yes, that's true. He did everything he could to keep the border under control, and I guess the last caller didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought I'd bring it up to you, Brian.
Well, I appreciate the call. I thank you so much. Yeah, and by the way, if you disagree with me on the issues, you are always welcome to call me. I don't shy away from that. But I'm not going to sit around and talk to someone who makes stuff up and then argue their made-up logic. But if you want to try to blue pill me, bring it on. I'd like to try. Does anyone know of an instance of blue pilling? Here's our great president.
And they do come from prisons and mental institutions, and they are terrorists. And we're going to be paying a price, and it'll be the largest deportation in the history of our country. And we have no choice. And it's not a nice thing to say, and I hate to say it. And those clowns in the media will say, oh, he's so mean. He said, no, they're killing our people. They're killing our country. They're killing our people. We have no choice.
Yeah, and he's right. I mean, you know, we have this one story. Let me see if I got it here. I was going to talk about it later. Let me see if I can find it. But of that nice American girl who was murdered by an illegal. Yeah, here it is. Hold on. I found it, but I'm going to get queued up where I was because I have some stories I want to make sure that I cover with everyone. But let's see. Yeah, this is it right here. Look at this. Suspected murder of UGA student released by Biden after illegally crossing the border. A Venezuelan man. See, Venezuela, you get the asylum from Venezuela, like automatic. By the way, you don't really have to be from Venezuela. You just have to say you're from Venezuela, right? You're undocumented. How are they going to prove it? A Venezuelan man who illegally crossed the southern border in 22 has been charged in connection with the murder of University of Georgia student Laken Riley. The Biden administration released the suspect in El Paso, where he then listed his preferred destination as New York City. So here we got, this is a crime that should not have happened. And this poor, beautiful, young American girl is dead because of Joe Biden and Mayorkas should be charged as accessories. You know, these are things like, it's like Minority Report. Remember the Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report, which was taken from a Philip K. Dick book. Minority Report, where they had that division of pre-crime. They had those psychics that could see crime before they happened, and they would go and arrest people before they committed the crimes. Well, that's kind of like this. If you shut down the damn border and stop these killers and rapists and everyone else from coming across the border, they wouldn't kill people. This beautiful young girl is dead because of Mayorkas, because of Joe Biden, because of the Democrats. And that's a fact. I mean, that's just the way it is, guys.
Receive.
Okay? That's just the way it is, and there's no getting around it. And those of you who support that crap, shame on you. Shame on you for supporting Democrats that are responsible for the death of that beautiful American girl. So here's our great president last night.
I was just informed that we got double the number of votes that has ever been received in the great state of South Carolina.
So there we got a historic victory, and Nikki Haley is still saying, well, there's a group out there. No one has ever gotten 100% of the vote. By the way, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. You'll love my content, I promise you. And if you're already subscribed and you haven't done it already, like the video, guys, because that helps spread this channel to people that have not yet found my channel. So subscribe if you're new, and if you're already subbed, like. You know, and these are, you know, I've talked many times when I was a kid. A friend of mine was murdered by two illegals here in Florida. It happens all the time. President Trump calls it the migrant crime wave, right? A new term. I like how he came up with Maganomics the other day, too. Did you see that? It came up with Maganomics. I love that one. But this illegal alien, this migrant crime wave that's going on, and that's just the way it is. Now, Nikki Haley, they're going around talking about how Trump can't beat Biden, but she can. I don't know where that bizarre logic comes in, since she's losing to Trump by a lot. So how could she possibly win? But Interactive Polls has some numbers out. Look at this. Now, this is with all the dream wish that the Trump haters have. Trump at 53 to Biden's 33. And look who they have in the race. Michelle Obama, Newsom, Kamala, Bobby Kennedy Jr., and Nikki Haley. And still, with all these jerks in the race, President Trump still 53 to 33 against Biden. So what are they talking about? I mean, that's absolutely amazing. And look how they try to dilute it by having their dream list. Haley, RFK Jr., Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama, and Biden, right? And still President Trump at 53% in the general election. That's the latest Interactive Polls. I mean, give me a break. This really must be freaking them out. Absolutely. There's another one, 538. Projected vote share in each state if they voted today based on polls and voter demographics. Okay? And, I mean, look at this. Trump, Texas, 69. He'll win by 69. Trump in Tennessee, 69. Missouri, 63. Georgia, Fannie Willis. Trump projected to win Georgia by 61. Virginia, 60. Colorado, 58. California, 57. And it goes all the way. The worst is only by 30 points in Idaho. So, come on. The country wants Trump. And they want Trump for a lot of reasons. But people are feeling the pain. It's not just Bidenomics, which is a diet plan, not an economic plan. But if you look at every town the press go to, and whoever they talk to, the border has them pissed. Okay? And that is the main issue. And the Democrats, Biden, they're not doing anything to change that situation. In fact, they're doing just the opposite if you look at it, right? It's like they don't even want to fix it. And they have a limited time this year to continue to do everything that they're doing. And the border situation is going to get worse. And stories of crimes committed by illegals need to be highlighted. People are fed up. Now, of course, Joy Reid, I guess this is in honor of the South Carolina primary. She put back on her Trump wig. Joy Reid in her Trump wig here, and she's very upset,
about the makeup of this electorate. I mean, this is a 92% white, overwhelmingly evangelical Christian primary electorate.
Now, what does that mean? 92% white. Are white people not to have a vote? Are white people not allowed a voice? If white people do something, is that by definition wrong? Look at her face. That's the face of racism. Just like the Democrats, the only difference between the Democrats of the Jim Crow era and her is that the skin colors changed. But look, she just has anger towards whites. And what's with this wearing this Trump wig that she's got on? Joy Reid, is that not cultural appropriation?
About the makeup of this electorate. I mean, this is a 92% white, overwhelmingly evangelical Christian primary electorate in South Carolina. And I think writ large around the country, that is the way they think. I mean, even among the independent voters, who are about 21% of this electorate, it's like almost a 50-50 question as to whether President Biden is the legitimate president of the United States. That is what the Republican Party is now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. You're losing. Okay. And I'm sorry. And I like how she tries to portray herself as some type of victim. She's got a Harvard education. Okay? She's got a Harvard education. Now, this here, I thought this was interesting. The Prime Minister of Slovakia. And, you know, Slovakia, of course, is where the most beautiful first lady ever was born, Melania. Slovakian prime minister believes Russia started war against Ukraine because of rampant Ukrainian neo-Nazis. I don't know. I know a lot of people have talked about that, but who knows more about what's going on in Ukraine? The prime minister of Slovakia or some liberal pundit on CNN? I would say the prime minister of Slovakia knows a lot more about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine than anyone in this country. And, you know, something to look into. Something to look into. And, you know, I know that's not the first time we've heard it, but he's there. He's on site. And he knows what's going on. You know, one of the things we have in this country are corrupt judges. You know, they're all corrupt in these Trump cases so far. I mean, you know, we've seen the rulings we've seen. I mean, look at this J6 judge, Chunkin. She was Hunter Biden's boss at the law firm that he worked at. She was an equity partner at the firm, and Burisma was Hunter's big fish client. So the Judge Chunkin in the J6 case in D.C. got Burisma money. Out of all the judges, it just happens to be an Obama judge that was Hunter's boss that took Burisma money? Come on. You know, and in Goron, President Trump talked about this. He got a look at how much cash Trump had in the bank, and he made his judgment that amount. He's trying to take all of Trump's cash. Part of taking the cash is not just to try to make him go broke, but Trump is largely funding his own campaign. So they figure if they seize all of his money, he won't be able to fund his campaign. So, you know, these judges, and this judge in the Fani Willis case, we don't know how he's going to rule yet about removing Fani Willis and her gigolo boyfriend from the case. But, you know, the one that donated money to Fani Willis, his wife did too. But these judges make rulings all the time that are corrupt around this country, and they face consequences. And look at this one. Illinois judge who reversed a rape conviction removed from bench after panel finds he circumvented the law. Remember that? This beautiful girl was raped. Remember this case? I remember when this happened. An Illinois judge who sparked outrage, this is the AP, by reversing a man's rape conviction involving a 16-year-old girl has been removed from the bench after a judicial oversight body found he circumvented the law and engaged in misconduct. The Illinois Courts Commission removed Adams County Judge Robert Adrian from the bench Friday after it held a 3-day hearing in Chicago in November on a complaint filed against Adrian. Its decision says Adrian engaged in multiple instances of misconduct, abused his position of power to indulge in his own sense of justice while circumventing the law. So just because someone's a judge doesn't mean that they can break the law, right? You know, there is a system in place to deal with corrupt judges. And judges many times have been removed from their bench, even at the federal level. Okay? So don't think, you know, they're on top of the world right now with all their corrupt judges and such. But don't let that make you think that there's not a system in place to bring corrupt judges to justice. And it very well could happen. Now, this story is going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is Catherine Herridge. Now, apparently, Catherine Herridge was working on some big stories involving this junkie here, Hunter Biden. And not only did they fire her, CBS, but they went in and seized all of her computers and paperwork, including all of her research and sources, information on sources. Now, she may still have copies of all of that, and she still may have a list of all of her sources, but what they did there? They wanted to know who she was talking to and who was talking to her. And now they know who to target. Whoever was giving Catherine Herridge information about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and their corruption, now they've got the list. Now they know who to go after and intimidate or buy off. You know, veteran investigative journalist Catherine Herridge, whom CBS laid off last week, shared a statement Friday that appeared to confirm the network seized notes from her office after she had been let go, an unusual and heavy-handed manner that called into question the network's motives. Herridge, who reported on the Justice Department and other national security matters. You know what also this is connected to, I bet you? That FBI source that they've arrested, who gave Comer's committee the $10 million Cyprus bank account deposit that Biden received. I bet you that's part of her reporting because she's the Justice Department reporter. Herridge, who reported on the Justice Department and other national security matters, has been reporting on the Hunter Biden laptop scandal for CBS and was in the middle of a First Amendment case refusing to turn over an Obama-appointed federal judge the name of a source for an investigative piece she wrote for Fox News in 2017. The statement came after an article on Tuesday by The Hill columnist and former CBS News legal analyst Jonathan Turley that said CBS had seized Herridge's files, a highly unusual practice when a news employee is laid off. You know, and whatever they seized about Obama, this is interesting because, remember, it came out, it confirmed about a week or so ago that the break-in of Mar-a-Lago was mainly about, they thought that President Trump had a binder in his personal safe detailing Obama ordering Brennan to spy on Trump Tower. So this is the second instance of the cleaners going in and seizing or trying to seize information to protect crimes committed by Barack Obama. Now, she's a SAG-AFTRA member, so they got this union statement out. SAG-AFTRA strongly condemns CBS News' decision to seize Catherine Herridge's reporter's notes and research from her office, including confidential source information. See, now they got the list of the confidential source information. And this also terrifies other sources from coming forward because what if they raid the offices of that reporter too, right? They got that information. This action is deeply concerning to the union. Now look at this. So the Democrats have SAG-AFTRA after them. These are lunatic leftist SAG-AFTRA. They just had that big strike out in California, right? CBS News denied it had seized her files in a statement reported by TV Newsner, but Herridge is confirming it. And I believe Jonathan Turley on this and Herridge, don't you? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's something. That's something. It's all, things are all, see, these evildoers, they've been doing their crime for so long, and now things are changing. Now, again, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. You will love my content, I promise you. You will not find anyone who supports Trump more than me. I will never criticize nor disagree with President Trump ever. Never have, never will. And I say that with pride. I saw this story today. ABC is struggling to sell commercials for the upcoming Oscars. The liberal Oscars are over, okay? No one cares. If there's a movie coming out we want to see, we just wait. Like I saw Oppenheimer last weekend. I waited till it was like, for free. On one of the apps, I think it's on Peacock, and I did watch it. A little leftist slant to it, of course. It did come out of Hollywood, but who cares about the Oscars anymore? They made such a big deal about giving themselves awards, these liberal jerks, and it's really nice to see the end of the Oscars because they're not commercially viable any longer, right? They're not commercially viable anymore. And that's a big platform of leftists. I mean, liberal Hollywood are losing their juice getting involved in politics in this country. And you know what? That's a good thing. Hey, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Speaking on this Catherine Herridge deal, wasn't there a thing with James Rosen or somebody else, maybe at CNN or something, that they didn't want to give up? They didn't want to give up their sources, and was it the Obama administration or somebody took them to court for try?
Well, no, what happened with what was his name again? I just forgot the name. I'm getting like Biden. You just said the name.
Was it James Rosen?
Yeah, James Rosen. What happened was the Obama administration. They were spying on James Rosen. They even put a wiretap on James Rosen's parents' telephone in his parents' home, and it was about Fast and Furious, the gun running scandal.
Right. Right. So this is about par for the course for somebody somebody from that way of thinking, the Obama Biden way of thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
well, what these stories do is confirm how much power that, is Obama really running things? Well, they broke into Mar-a-Lago trying to get Obama information of crimes. They seized Catherine Herridge, who's information. She's working on a story exposing Obama on something, right? So he's still in charge, it seems.
Right, and that's the thing, and I agree with Bongino. Don Bongino says this isn't just all these scandals that are going on right now aren't just they aren't just Biden scandals. They're Obama scandals.
That's
as
right.
Well,
mm-hmm.
Think about it. I mean, if it was just a Biden scandal, they would just let the natural course of things run its course, and Obama.
Well, and it also confirms not only that Obama's running things, but all these crimes that Obama's involved in.
Right, and that's the thing. And as far as your thumbnail about what's her name about bird brain there.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman is going to stay until the bitter end, even though she knows she's going to get dominated in each and every primary that takes place, including the next one's going to be the Super Tuesday thing, isn't
and
it?
she's going to Michigan today to start. Absolutely, yeah. By the way, thanks for the call, Mike. It's good to hear from you. Don't you love this picture? Make Argentina great again. What a great speech he gave yesterday. I was so impressed with that speech. I was watching on Right Side Broadcasting. And by the way, I saw on Right Side Broadcasting some of you from my chat in the Right Side chat. Excuse me, hold on, guys. My throat's a little dry. Let me take a drink here of my cold coffee. This is turned into iced coffee because it's no longer hot at all. But what an amazing speech he gave! It was so impressive, and he was really describing what's going on in our country. This is like a great picture. This picture here, this is historic. Here's President Trump, just called Trump Wins South Carolina, and this is President Trump from behind, and you get to see him watch his own victory being announced on Fox News. That's a historic photograph. Look at that. This is on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, if you want to grab that photo and keep it. Put it on your Instagram or something, because that's a historic photograph. I can't wait to get a similar photograph on election night in November. And, I call it the Trump miracle. With the forces that he has had against him, everything they've done to him since he came down the escalator from the spine on Trump Tower, since the end of his first term, these insane lawfare judgments. You heard Peter Navarro at CPAC yesterday talking. Peter Navarro is going to jail, And you look at all these things that are going on, and he is having these amazing victories. This is a miracle. He has an angel on his shoulder there. And I love this picture. Let me step out of the way. You guys can see it. Isn't that something? That is an absolutely amazing photograph of the president. I love that photo. I saw that. I'm like, oh, wow. I might save that one. I think I might save that one. That's a definite good one. Oh, here we go. This is, look at this. Look at this. Look how excited he is to see Trump.
President!
President! I love it.
President!
Isn't that something? President! President! Oh, man. I can't wait to see them hug at the White House. Saving North and South America from socialist, communist. Laura Loomer, though, she had yesterday, I thought, the best tweet. So here's Nikki Haley. Boy, she's skinny. She's not eating. It's all the stress. And look what Laura Loomer tweeted. The face of an adulterous loser. The face of an adulterous loser. See, that picture of Trump, which is historic, just happened. He's just there watching someone snap the picture. She's posing. See the difference? The face of an adulterous loser. That's amazing. Laura Loomer's got away with words. You got to love Laura Loomer. She's pretty awesome. Oh, yeah. It's just, it is absolutely just a miracle what's happening here. And it's something that, it's just something that they've worked so hard not to allow to happen. Now, this is great. This is Jesse Jackson. He's going to come up and praise Donald Trump.
We know that, right? He's
There
a
he
terrific
is.
guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And the snow came, and I said, gee, nobody's going to show up, and look at this place, it's packed. Well,
Yeah, 'cause
I just
you're
say
there.
a few words. I mean, Wall Street and New York City and this whole region is doing unbelievably well. I'm building a job on the West Side, which is the largest job ever approved by the New York City Planning Commission. You see it going up along the West Side Highway. It's almost 10 million square feet. It's 18 buildings, and it's really going to be something. I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York.
Now
and a
watch,
big
Jesse's going to
percentage
come
of
up.
that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions. And then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible. But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
Thank you, Jesse Jackson. Lifelong Democrat. Worked for Dr.
And
King.
all of that wealth, Trump wants a free ticket to the fair tonight.
You can't make this up. Now, did you catch the part when...
I mean, this is nuts. So here you've got, this is somebody who put this up on social, but top Democrat, all of a sudden, Trump comes down the escalator, says he's a Republican. All these Democrats, all of a sudden, he's evil. I mean, it's insane. You know, that's where the Trump derangement comes from. But you know, the thing about President Trump, it's so much like, you know, we know, right? It's the deep state has lost their control. The donors have lost their control. You know, like, remember back in the days of the X-Files? The X-Files was always, who's the secret government? Who's the secret government? The secret government's the donors. The top of the donors, the military-industrial complex. But it's the donors in the deep state. That's the secret government. That's it. That's it. And they've lost control. They've lost power. President Trump said a couple weeks ago, they should have just left me alone. He said, I'd be on my way out now, but here I am coming back. And that's why I said, when Trump ended his first term, I said to you guys, and I talked to Dick Morris about this and Peter Navarro, and they agreed with me. I told both Peter Navarro and Dick Morris that we're going to find that it's better for President Trump to have 2 non-consecutive terms than 2 consecutive terms, because he's going to come in with a mass mandate to accomplish his agenda. And boom, that's where we are right now. So we're going to find that it's much better the way things turned out. Don't you think? He's going to get a lot more done in this second term than he would have done in a second term if it was consecutive. Now, Jim Jordan dropped something in CPAC yesterday.
No, we haven't heard back from her yet. We'll see what we get from her. But there's a whistleblower in her office who we have talked to, the committee staff. Yeah, and she, the whistleblower, I think she's like 4'11", but Fani Willis had 7 police escort her out when she fired this lady, because this lady raised the concern that Miss Willis was not spending federal funds and not following the grant, the rules of the grant and the grant dollars in the appropriate manner.
Yeah.
So she raised this concern, and then Fani Willis fired her. She's now talking with our office.
There you go. So we're going to get a mugshot from Fannie. I kind of hope that the mugshot from Fannie is from the Fulton County Jail, not federal. Just so we can have another Fulton County. You know what I mean? What do you guys think? Would you rather Fannie have the Fulton County mugshot, or would you rather Fannie have a federal mugshot? I think the Fulton County one would be better for me. That's just me. Now, MSNBC, they're a little confused. Here's the great Matt Gaetz. They hate Matt Gaetz because, like Donald Trump, he stands up to them, and he's another Florida guy, right? We have some great Floridians: President Trump, Matt Gaetz, Byron Donalds.
On the other side, Heidi, you've got the new speaker.
Now listen to Heidi here.
Mike Johnson, who's not afraid to wear his Christianity on his sleeve, his collar, his lapel, his head, wherever he can wear it. How do members react to that? How are they responding to this real strong infusion of Christian nationalism into the body?
See that you notice this new thing they're talking about, Christian nationalism. This is some huge creation that the left have come up with, Christian nationalism. And you know what they mean by that, don't you? Nazis. It's a way for them to say Nazis. But they got this new thing, this new boogeyman. It used to be neocons, and now they're working with the neocons, right? So they try to use neocon like neo-Nazi. That's when that came up. Now the neocons, it's like the Bush wing, and the Paul Ryans are neocons, so they like them now. But Christian nationalism, code words for Nazis. But let's listen to this weird discussion.
Wherever he can wear it. How do members react to that? How are they responding to this real strong infusion of Christian nationalism?
And another thing here, what's wrong with nationalism? Love of country. Isn't that what you're supposed to have, is love for country?
Into the body politic of the House.
I've talked with a lot of experts on this, and I've seen it myself with my...
Experts on Christian nationalism? Who are these experts on Christian nationalism? I'm sure they're liberals.
The House.
I've talked with a lot of experts on this, and I've seen it myself with my reporting, Michael, which is that the base of the Republican Party has shifted, right? Remember when Trump ran in 2016, a lot of the mainline evangelicals wanted nothing to do with the divorced, real estate mogul who...
Right.
President Reagan was divorced and remarried, by the way, okay? And that was way back in 1980.
Cheated on his wife and with a porn star and all of that, right?
No, he did not cheat on his wife with a porn star. What kind of reporter is this? She just makes up crap. President Trump didn't cheat on his wife with a porn star.
His wife and with a porn star and all of that, right? So what happened was he was surrounded by this more extremist element. You're going to hear words like...
What a liberal, snobby way to say extremist. Extremist. Have you ever heard anybody say, maybe extremist is the proper, but I've never heard anybody say extremist. It's usually extremist, but these are liberals and they want to sound super smart, and intellectual.
Extremist element. You're going to hear words like Christian nationalism, like the new apostolic reformation. These are...
Apostolic? Oh my goodness. This is insanity.
Apostolic reformation. These are groups that you should get very schooled on, because they have a lot of power in Trump's circle. And the one thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different.
Okay, I'd like to ask her is, what is a Christian nationalist, and how are they different? They just make crap up. And, we got to study these things. This is the over-intellectualizing, Rachel Maddowizing, NPRizing of a bunch of liberal gobbledygook, okay? Christian nationalism, much different than Christianity. What is Christianity to them? Christians like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden who support abortion? I don't know what that means.
They have a lot of power in Trump's circle. And the one thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress. They don't come from the Supreme Court. They come from God.
Yeah, as our Declaration of Independence says, we are given these rights by God. And I guess they don't teach about the Declaration of Independence anymore in these liberal universities.
Nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress. They don't come from the Supreme Court. They come from God.
Okay. Now, when I was growing up, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I was in high school in the 80s. And during the Cold War, and all my teachers always told me, by the way, not just in public school, but even in college, that the reason that our brilliant founding fathers said that we were given our rights by God, not men is because if people gave you your rights, people can take them away. If God has given you your rights, only God can take them away. And none of these members of Congress or the Supreme Court or presidents are God, or will never have God as one of those office holders. So this is really not something just to blow off. This shows you that there has been a complete 180 in our education system all the way up through college about where our rights come from. Okay? Our rights are given to us in America by God. Among those rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Okay? Among. Not by people, not by a government, because if they're given to you by a government, given to you by a king, a Congress, a Supreme Court, back then it was a king, that means those people can take them away from you. This is a national investigative correspondent for NBC News. She's with Politico, left-wing Politico. And they're not challenging her on this. I mean, and this is really scary. And this is what one of the things we're losing in this country is an understanding of where our rights come from. This is when I talk about this massive wave, we're losing Americanism, we're losing our culture. This is an example of it. Now, the creator part's in the Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution, but that is the document that does, in fact, give us our rights. The Constitution gets more specific about our rights, but our founding fathers said we were given these rights by the Creator. Okay, and she thinks the difference between a Christian and a Christian nationalist, I guess, is someone who believes that our founding fathers said that we were given our rights by the Creator.
And the one thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress, they don't come from the Supreme Court, they come from God. The problem with that is that they are determining men, are determining what God is telling them. And in the past, that so-called natural law is, it's a pillar of Catholicism. Catholicism, for instance, it's been used for good in social justice campaigns. Martin Luther King evoked it in talking about civil rights. But now you have an extremist element of conservative Christians who say that this applies specifically to issues including abortion, gay marriage, and it's going much further than that. As you see, for instance, with the ruling in Alabama this week, that judge is connected to that dominionist faction in talking about a lot of other issues, including surrogacy, IVF, sex education in schools. There's a lot in addition.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, courtesy of Newsbusters, which, by the way, is very good. Newsbusters.org. If you don't go there, very good. PJ, who calls all the time. PJ is a writer with Newsbusters who calls me all the time. He goes on our cruises. That is really frightening. That somebody at her level has no understanding. Really, when you hear someone like President Trump say that these are communists, these are Marxist. In the Soviet Union, the national religion, atheism. They didn't have a national religion because God gets in the way of in communist societies. God gets in the way of the communist dictators telling you what your rights are. They have a different moral code than Christianity does. That's why they wipe out religion and say it has nothing to do with government and maybe even outlaw it. Now we're moving in that phase very openly on NBC News. And while you may say this is normal liberal thinking, this is not standard at the level of NBC News. Not many years ago, you wouldn't see talk like that on NBC News and it not be challenged. Now, guys, Super Tuesday's coming up. I got a sneeze coming up too, so I'll see if I can stop the sneeze. Get your Mighty MAGA Lion before Super Tuesday. Hold on, guys. Oh, thank you for the bless yous in advance. Oh, boy. The Mighty MAGA Lion, available exclusively through me at MightyMAGALion.com. There's a link in the description of the video. This is the only Trump-inspired merchandise wearing the MAGA hat. And the Mighty MAGA Lion is available exclusively through me. Go to MightyMAGALion.com. If you order more than one, you get a discount. If you Order today. Your Mighty MAGA Lion will be shipped tomorrow. Okay? MightyMagaLion.com. Order yours. Okay? Again, there's a link in the description. What better way to spend every one of these primary nights and even the general election or just a regular Trump speech or rally cuddling your Mighty MAGA Lion. MightyMagaLion.com. And again, there's a link in the description. Order yours, guys. You'll love him. He's cute and cuddly just like Trump, isn't he? Absolutely. Well, guys, my name's Brian Craig. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, this is obviously where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. Everyone who's already subbed, like the video if you don't mind. That helps spread word about the channel. Again, my name's Brian. I'll see you next time.